Divorce doesn't just break hearts. Sometimes it breaks identity, your confidence, your routines, your faith, your ability to imagine a happy future. What if the person destroying your life after divorce isn't your ex anymore? What if it is the version of you that has completely given up hope? Hey there, Joy Seeker. Welcome back for more Gen Juice. I'm Jen Zingmark, your Christian life and divorce coach. If you're new here, I'm so glad you found this space. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any future episodes because every single week we talk about healing, faith, relationships, identity, and how you can truly find joy again after divorce. And if you're struggling right now, I also want you to know about the Find the Joy app available through my website, findthejoywithjen.com. Inside the app, you will find encouragement, exclusive content, support, and a place where you can even submit your questions about your own situation directly to me, and I will personally help guide you through this season. So get your app today. All right, friends, let's get into it. Today's episode is for the person who feels completely alone. It's for the person sitting on the sofa, staring at the ceiling, wondering how life got here. It's for the person sitting in the school pickup line, trying not to cry in front of your kids, or the person driving home from work with tears rolling down your face because the silence in the car feels unbearable. Or for the person scrolling social media at 2 a.m., wondering why everyone else seems happy while your life feels shattered. It's for the person standing in the shower crying because that is the only place no one else will hear you. And maybe most of all, it's for the person who feels trapped, paralyzed, stuck, afraid, and hopeless. Because if that's you, I need you to hear me clearly today, friend. You do not have to stay here. Just because your marriage ended does not mean your life has ended. Today, I want to talk about the difference between loneliness and being alone because they are not the same thing. One can destroy you, and the other can actually heal you. There is a huge difference after divorce, and most people experience loneliness at a level they never felt before. Even people who were miserable in their marriage often feel lonely afterwards, and that surprises them. They think, wait, I wanted out of that marriage. Why do I still feel so devastated? Because divorce creates emotional shockwaves. It changes routines, your identity, your family structure. It affects everything, your holidays, your finances, who you text during the day, who sits with you at church, who you eat dinner with. It changes everything, and suddenly the world can feel painfully quiet. I remember talking to someone who told me the hardest part of divorce wasn't even betrayal or the court process, the custody schedule. It was eating dinner alone for the first time and night after night. She said she sat there staring at her plate in complete silence and thought, is this just my life now? Maybe you've had moments like that too, friend. Maybe you've walked through the grocery store feeling jealous of other couples walking and talking together. Maybe you've dreaded the weekends because you don't know what to do with yourself anymore. Maybe you've avoided certain songs or restaurants or places because they remind you of everything that you've lost. Loneliness after divorce is real. Sometimes people around us unintentionally make it worse because they try to fix it by saying little cliches like, you just need to move on, or everything happens for a reason, or at least you're free now. But healing is not that simple. And I understand that because I have been where you are, friends. You cannot possibly understand the depth of loneliness and heartbreak that you feel after divorce unless you have been through it. Loneliness isn't just about being physically alone. Loneliness is the feeling that nobody truly sees you, understands you, or knows the weight that you are carrying. That's why you can feel lonely even in a crowded room. You can feel lonely sitting in a congregation at church. You can feel lonely at family gatherings or surrounded by people who love you and care about you. But here's what I want you to understand today: being alone and being lonely are two very different things. Loneliness says, I'm abandoned, but being alone says, I am learning who I really am now. Loneliness says my life is over because I'm not married anymore. But being alone says my life is being rebuilt. Loneliness says I have nothing. But being alone says I finally have space to heal. I know that sounds beautiful and inspiring when you hear it on a podcast, but let's be honest. The beginning stages don't feel inspiring. They feel brutal. There's grief, fear, panic, anxiety, and way too much overthinking. You question yourself constantly. You wonder if anyone will ever love you again. You wonder if your kids will be okay. You wonder if you ruined your future. You wonder if happiness is even possible anymore. If you stay in that emotional state for too long, something dangerous starts to happen and you stop living. You begin surviving. You shrink your world. You isolate yourself and you just stop trying. You stop dreaming. You stop believing that your life can be beautiful again. This is why I am so passionate about helping people start their healing journey now rather than waiting for years. I have seen what happens when people stay emotionally frozen after divorce. I have seen many people spend 5 or 10 or even 20 years stuck in bitterness, fear, resentment, shame, or hopelessness. But I have also seen people completely transform their lives. I have seen people become stronger, healthier, more spiritually grounded, more emotionally mature, more confident, more connected than they ever were before divorce. Not because divorce was good, but because they chose healing. That's the key. Healing is a choice. It is not a feeling. And you can grow better through your divorce journey. Sometimes healing starts with very small decisions, like getting off the sofa, going for a walk, calling a friend, listening to uplifting content instead of spiraling and doom scrolling on social media, reading your scriptures again, praying honestly for the first time in months, joining a support group, or getting a life coach, doing something instead of staying emotionally frozen. I remember hearing about a man after his divorce who completely isolated himself. He went to work, came home, ate alone, stared at the television, and repeated that cycle every day. Eventually, his daughter came to him and said, Dad, are you ever going to be happy again? That question really wrecked him because he realized his children weren't just watching his divorce. They were watching how he responded to pain. They were watching him in real time shut down. And some of you need to hear this today. Your healing matters, not just for you, but for your children and your grandchildren. You are teaching them what resilience looks like. You are teaching them what faith looks like. You are teaching them whether hard things destroys people or refines people. That does not mean you fake happiness. Healing does not mean pretending that everything is okay. Healing means choosing not to stay broken forever. There is a difference, my friends. And some of you listening today are waiting to feel motivated before you begin healing. But motivation usually comes after movement, not before. Listen up, friends. You don't wait until you feel confident to change your life. You start changing your life and your confidence grows along the way. You don't wait until fear disappears. You move forward while you're scared. You don't wait until loneliness magically vanishes. You begin building connection, purpose, and healing one step at a time. One of the greatest lies that people believe after divorce is this: they believe this is as good as it gets now. No, it isn't, my friends. Not even close. I need you to hear this clearly. You can create a life you genuinely love again. You can laugh again. You can trust again. You can feel peace again. You can build incredible relationships with your children. You can become emotionally healthier than you ever have been before. You can have deep, meaningful friendships, and you can feel spiritually connected again. And yes, for some people, you may even have a future marriage that is healthier, safer, even more emotionally connected, and more aligned than the one that ended. But none of that happens accidentally. It only happens intentionally. Your future life is being shaped by the decisions you make right now in this painful season. Sometimes the biggest breakthroughs come when you stop asking, "Why did this happen to me?" and start asking, "What can I learn here? Who can I become through this experience?" Those questions change everything because divorce can either harden your heart or deepen your soul. It can make you bitter or it can make you better. It can make you shut down or help you grow stronger. It can make you lose yourself or finally find yourself. I know someone listening right now feels exhausted. You've been surviving for so long that you can't even imagine thriving anymore. But I want you to picture something for a minute. Picture yourself 1 year from now, emotionally healthier. You are sleeping better, you're smiling more, your home is peaceful, you feel spiritually grounded again. You have rebuilt your confidence. Your relationship with your children is stronger. You no longer panic every time your phone rings. You no longer spend your nights crying. You've started creating routines, friendships, setting goals, and living on purpose again. That version of you is possible, my friend, but that future version of you needs you to do something today. Make a decision to stop staying stuck, a decision to start healing, a decision to believe your life still matters, a decision to stop defining yourself by what someone else did to you, a decision to believe that God still has a plan for your life because He does. I truly believe some of the most beautiful people I have ever met are people who walked through devastating heartbreak and chose to become softer instead of harder. They became more compassionate, more understanding, more intentional, more spiritually connected, more authentic, and more emotionally healthy in the process. Pain has a way of stripping away artificial things and forcing us to confront who we really are. While I would never wish divorce on anyone, I have seen people discover strengths they never knew they had because of their divorce. So, if you are listening today from your car or your bedroom or your kitchen floor or your office or even your shower or lying in bed awake at 2 a.m. feeling hopeless, please hear me. You're not crazy for feeling this loneliness, for struggling, for feeling weak. You are not weak for hurting, and you are not failing because healing takes time. But you also do not have to stay trapped in survival mode forever. You deserve peace. You deserve healing. You deserve joy, and you deserve a life that is full and meaningful again. If you don't know where to begin, that is exactly why I created my coaching program, Faith Filled Divorce, because so many people are trying to navigate this alone, and you don't have to, my friend. Inside my program, we work on healing emotionally, spiritually, mentally, and relationally. We talk about fear, loneliness, identity, faith, co parenting, emotional triggers, confidence, and exactly how to rebuild your life intentionally rather than just surviving. Because I don't want you to get through your divorce. I want you to grow stronger and get better. I want to help you become whole again. I want you to create a life that feels aligned, peaceful, and full of purpose. Maybe today can be the day your healing journey begins. Not when everything feels easier, not when all of your fears are gone, not when your life magically fixes itself, because that won't happen, friend, but today, just by taking one small step at a time. Before we close, I want to leave you with this thought. Being alone is not the end of your story. Sometimes it is just the beginning of finally finding yourself again. One day you may look back and realize the season you thought would destroy you actually is the season that rebuilt you. Thank you so much for being here today, Joy Seekers. If this episode touched your heart, please make sure you subscribe, leave a review, and share it with someone who may be silently struggling right now. And if you like this message, I would love to hear from you in the comments on YouTube. Tell me where you're watching from. Tell me where you are in your divorce journey and what part of this episode spoke to you most, because I read every one of your comments. I love hearing from you and connecting with you. Remember, my friend, you are not alone. God has not forgotten you, and your story is not over yet. Thank you so much for being here today, Joy Seekers. Until next time, keep seeking healing, keep trusting in God, and remember you are stronger than you know. It is still possible for you to find joy in your journey, and I can help you find it. Bye, y'all.